All right, 2 Kings chapter 9. And Ezra the prophet called out of the children of prophet and said unto him, Guard up thy loins and take the box of oil in thy hand and go Ramon. And when thou comest, thou look out there Joram the son of Jershon, the son of Naaman, and go in and make him arise from among his brethren, and carry him in the overchamber. Then take the top box of all the power of it on the head, and say that thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then open the door and flee and tarry not. So the young men, even the young men, the prophet went to Ramon, and he came, behold, and captain of the host were sit in the, and he said, I have an errand to things of captain, and just said unto which of all us, and he said, O captain. And he arose and went unto the house of his, poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed the king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel, and thou say, Smite the house of Ahab, that thy master I may arrange the blood of my servant the prophet, and the blood of all the servant of the Lord at the hand of Joram. For the whole house of Ahab shall portion, and I will cut off Ahab from him that perish against the wall of him that is shut up and left in Israel, and I will make the house of the Ahab like the house of Joram the son of Nabat, and like the house of Beshullam the son of Hanun, and the dogs shall eat Jeroboam the person of the Jerusalem, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. Then Joah came forth to servant of his Lord, and said unto him, Is all well? Where from come this man fellow from case the maid follow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man said, and his commute. And they said, It was false till us now. And he said, Thus and thus speak he to me, saying, Thus say the Lord, I have anointed the king over Israel. Then they had and took every man his garment, and put it under him on the top of the stars, and blew with trumpets, saying, Jared is king. So Joram the son of Jericho, Jeroboam the son of Nimrah, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had kept Ramon, and he had and all Israel, because of Hazael king of Shan. But King Joram was returned to hail the Jorah, and the ones which the Syrian and given him when he fought with the Hazael king Sharon. And Joram said, If it the year mine, then let none go forth, nor escape out of the city. to go to tell Jeril. So Jeru had in the chariot. Jeru rode in the chariot and went to Jezreel of Joram, lay there, and the Hazael king of Jordan came down to see Joram, and there stood a wrench man on the tower of Jezreel, and he spread the company of the jurors as he came and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take as horsemen and send to meet them, and let him say, is it peace? So there went one on horseback to meet him and said, thus say the king, is it peace? And those said, wait, hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, the messenger came to them, but he cometh not again. Then he said, one sent out a second of horseback, which came to them and said, thus say the king, is it peace? And Joram answered, what hast thou do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And watchmen told, saying, he came even unto them, and cometh not again. And the driving is the driving, and Jeruel the son of Not, for the dwell furnace. And Jerusalem said, make ready, and his chariot was made ready. And Joram king of Israel and the Hazael king of Judah went out of each in his chariot, and they went out against Jeruel and met him in the poor Nabron and Jerusalem. And it came to pass, when Joram said, that he said, is it peace, Jeru? And he answered, what peace, so long as the wisdom of the mother Jeru, her witchcraft are so many. And Joram turned his hand and fled and said, a Hazael, there is a treachery, O Abron. And Jeru drew a bow with his full strength and smote Joram between his arms, and the arrows went out of his heart, and be shrunk down in his chariot. Then said Jeru to Bara his captain, take up, cast him in the portion of the field of Nabron and Joram. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after his father, the Arab laid this burden upon his. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Nabron and the blood of sons, saith the Lord, and I will requite thee in this plot, saith the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him into the plot of ground according to the word of the Lord. But when Hazael the king of Judah saw they fled by the way of the garden house, and Jeru followed after him and said, smote him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going of Gur, which is by Tremble, and he fled to me Mundo and died there. And his servant cried him in the chariot, to Jerusalem and buried him to his sepulchre with his father in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Jerusalem, the son of Arab began a horizontal reign over Judah. And when Jeroboam was come to Jezreel, and Jezreel heard of it, and she painted her face and turned and tried her head and looked out a window, and Jezreel entered in at the gate. She said, had Jeroboam peace who slew the master? And he left his face to widow and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him or three and court, and he said, thus throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horse, and he trod her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, go see now, thus crush and bury her, for she is king's daughter. And they went bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet, and to the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, thus is the word of the Lord, which he spoke by his servant. And Elijah turned, saying, in the portion of Jerome shall dogs eat flesh of Jezreel, and the Caesar of Jezreel shall be as doing upon the face of the field. In the portion of John the son of shall not say, this is Jabal.